The Wayfair parties filed a motion to the judge asking to compel Blake Lively to give them her medical records. And it says that apparently Miss Lively's counsel recently advised us in writing that instead of complying with the medical RFPs, that Ms. Lively is withdrawing her emotional distress claims. It says, however, Ms. Lively has refused the Wayfair party's reasonable request that the withdrawal of such claims be with prejudice. She is only wanting to withdraw her claims without prejudice.
According to the source who spoke to the Daily Mail, they say that her attorneys tried to drop this quietly because they didn't want to have her medical records scrutinized. Remember, she had claimed that the emotional distress allegedly inflicted on her by Baldoni had severely impacted her physical, psychological, and emotional well-being, all of which could show up in health records if true. Now, the Daily Mail again did say she can refile it at a later date, so that is a possibility, but as of now, that's one less fight for Justin Baldoni's side.
Blake Lively just got served a brutal dose of reality. Her emotional distress lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, completely dead in the water. She walked into that courtroom expecting sympathy, maybe even a small legal edge. But what she got was a hard stop from a judge who made one thing clear. This wasn't a movie. This was real life. The courtroom didn't bend to fame. It didn't flinch at teary-eyed monologues. It stared back coldly and asked for one thing: proof. And when that proof didn't come, everything fell apart. In a move that shocked both legal insiders and pop culture watchers, Blake withdrew the very claim she had once called the emotional backbone of her entire case. No dramatic objection, no impassioned final defense, just a quiet retraction, like someone who realized too late that the spotlight had turned against them. Her legal team? They didn't push back. They didn't even try to soften the fall. That kind of silence in court isn't called strategy. It's called surrender. And here's where it gets sticky. If Blake really believed she was wronged, why fold now? That question is echoing everywhere, across fan forums, legal blogs, even within the media circuits that usually go easy on Hollywood names.
I mean, at this point, this drama is getting so out of hand. I just went on vacation. I was like, I have to catch up on so much of Blake Lively's stuff that's happened, because this girl apparently has no work besides doing all controversial nonsense. Baldoni versus Lively feud. Lively withdraws. This is as of June 3rd, 25. Withdraws emotional distress claims after Baldoni seeks her medical records. The truth is coming out, Blake, honey. Yeah, now that...
Because when someone claims deep emotional trauma, the last thing you expect is for them to back out the second things get uncomfortable. Especially when that trauma involved eyebrow-raising allegations, like claiming she baptized her children as a way to cope with stress. A claim so out of place, so legally irrelevant, that it was met with silence by the bench. No cross-examination needed, no rebuttal, just collective disbelief. And instead of casting Justin Baldoni in a bad light, that move only raised more questions about Blake's own stability, both legally and personally. But the real turning point came when she tried to pull a classic Hollywood maneuver: shift the narrative, distract, control the optics. She tried to dazzle the court with last-minute legal pivots, tried to confuse the situation with ambiguous filings and requests to dismiss certain claims without prejudice, meaning she could refile them later. Essentially, she was trying to pause the game until the odds were better. But Judge Lehman wasn't playing. He saw the performance for what it was, a legal stunt, and he shut it down completely. No delay, no resets, no reboots. He made it plain. This courtroom runs on law, not illusion. What followed was a full legal implosion. Judge Lehman delivered the ultimate ultimatum. Either Blake submitted her full mental health records to back her emotional distress claims, or she dropped them. Publicly. Permanently.
Okay, let's see your medical records. Duh. You're so emotional, you can't get out of bed, you're sick, you can't eat, can't sleep. Let's go through and see if you were seeing a psychiatrist at that time, a therapist at that time, maybe a doctor prescribed you some Xanax to deal, presumably with all of that anxiety.
Faced with that line in the sand, Blake walked away. And that choice said more than any press release could. It said, there's no evidence, no foundation, no story worth defending. The moment was definitive. The drama didn't come from a verdict. It came from the vacuum Blake left behind. But the chaos wasn't just legal. It spread to her inner circle. Because when Blake felt the walls closing in, she reached for backup and dropped Taylor Swift's name into the mix. It was a desperate attempt to rally public support, maybe even to lend credibility to the claims. The idea was simple. If Taylor, the ultimate PR powerhouse, stood beside her, the public might hesitate to turn. But Taylor, total silence. No Instagram post, no supportive tweet, not even a backstage whisper. She didn't defend, she didn't deny, she simply disengaged, and that silence was deafening. Behind the scenes, reports surfaced of Blake sending messages, texts, voicemails, all trying to get Taylor's attention. All ignored, not out of malice, but out of clarity. Taylor Swift didn't want to be part of this. She didn't even want her name attached to it. That silence told a whole story on its own. Not even Blake's most powerful friend believed the narrative. And when the press started to notice the absence, the headlines got sharper. Even traditionally soft outlets like Deadline dropped the Hollywood PR gloss and reported it plainly. The court had rejected Blake's claims under Rule 15. That's a legal rule typically cited when the court thinks a claim is so flimsy, it's not even worth further discussion.
The never-ending legal battle between It Ends With Us co-stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has a sorta resolution, kind of, about one thing: emotional distress. Lively withdrawing her emotional distress claim after Baldoni's legal team wanted access to her medical and therapy records. The judge very quick to say that since she has withdrawn these claims, that she cannot present evidence or make any claims of emotional distress when this all goes to trial in March of next year. Okay, so this all started when Lively filed a lawsuit last December alleging that Baldoni sexually harassed her on set and orchestrated a smear campaign against her.
Blake Lively, once Hollywood's golden girl, the image of effortless grace, the curated queen of lifestyle branding and red carpet charm, walked out of court not with a win, not with closure, not even with dignity, but with silence. No comment, no statement, no appeal, just silence. And it wasn't strategic, it wasn't mysterious, it was the kind of silence that follows collapse. Not the quiet before the storm, but the vacuum that follows after everything's already burned. Because this wasn't just a bad day in court. This wasn't a PR crisis. This was a full-scale narrative detonation, the unraveling of a carefully managed persona that had, for years, been presented as pristine, untouchable, and above the noise. And now, it was noise, all of it. The truth is, Blake didn't lose a legal battle. She lost control of her story. That story, the one she spent a decade perfecting, was built on clean lines. Wife, mother, entrepreneur, fashion icon, celebrity bestie. But it all cracked in that courtroom when the judge asked for something that PR teams can't manufacture: evidence, honesty, consistency. And when she didn't have it, the whole facade collapsed. Not gradually, violently. Fans who once defended her started asking real questions. The media stopped shielding her. The lifestyle press that once drooled over her family photos and Pinterest-perfect persona suddenly turned cold.
This just in, Blake Lively drops the claim that Justin Baldoni intentionally caused her emotional distress after his team demanded to see medical proof. Daily Mail is reporting this, saying that they got a hold of the court filing, saying it shows the embattled actress has also withdrawn a second claim of negligent infliction of emotional distress and tried to avoid having to share her health records with the 41-year-old's legal team. Go on to say, but there was a sting in the tail for Baldoni, who now has 2 fewer claims to defend himself from after the actress demanded to drop the claims without prejudice, meaning they could be refiled. They say that Justin Baldoni's legal team fired off letters. They are really irritated, saying that Blake Lively is trying to have it both ways by demanding that she comply with their reasonable request to see her medical documents. According to the source who spoke to the Daily Mail, they say that her attorneys tried to drop this quietly because they didn't want to have her medical records scrutinized.
The quiet withdrawal of support from peers, publicists, and brand partners said everything. Even the Betty Boo's brand, Blake's big post-acting pivot, got caught in the fallout. The image of Blake sipping her own cocktail, posted across social media like it was gospel, suddenly felt hollow. Because what do you do when the face of your brand becomes a walking controversy? You distance, you disassociate, and that's exactly what the world did. And still, Blake remained silent. Not because it was smart, but because she had nothing left to say that could fix it. No post could repair what the judge's ruling had made undeniable. Even her so-called ride or die friendships, the kind that made headlines and broke the internet, gone quiet. No more matching 4th of July outfits, no more girls' nights made for Instagram, just digital silence. And Taylor Swift's silence? That was the dagger. Blake pulled her name into the chaos hoping for a shield. What she got was a ghost. No retweets, no likes, no shared vacation pics. Taylor didn't distance herself. She vanished. A full public disassociation, and it echoed louder than any statement ever could.
That a civilized society would just be like, oh my, we've never seen anything like this. This is outside of the bounds of everything that we have seen. We've seen murderers and killers, but what she's living through here.
At that point, it wasn't about the lawsuit anymore. It was about credibility, reputation, the fragile house of cards that is celebrity image, built with intention, destroyed by contradiction. Because here's the truth the court made crystal clear. You can't fake it in front of a federal judge. You can't bring crocodile tears and expect applause. You can't manipulate evidence the way you manipulate headlines. And when you try, the system doesn't bend. It breaks you. So when Judge Lehman denied her every request, when he told her, in no uncertain terms, that this courtroom wasn't handing out sympathy or second chances, that was it. The final act. The curtain fell. And what was left? Not justice, not vindication, not even a legal cliffhanger. Just a brand in freefall. A woman staring at the wreckage of her own making. A public now wide awake, eyes no longer clouded by curated stories or filtered photos. This wasn't a plot twist. It was an ending. Final, inevitable, unforgiving. Because in Hollywood, you can spin almost anything. A breakup, a scandal, even a comeback. But what you can't spin, a courtroom ruling. And Blake Lively just got hers. In writing, on the record, with no edits, no reshoots, and no do-overs. The show is over, the mask is off, and the world is watching.